Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us for our fifth career fair webinar with Environment for the Americas. I just want to go over some few ground rules before we get started. Please mute your microphones during the slide presentations, and we will have a Q&A session after the end of our presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat box until then. And if you're able to, turn on your camera so we can see all of your beautiful faces and introduce yourself into the chat box. So we are going to go ahead and get started with the presentation. Again, this is the fifth webinar for our webinars with career fairs. I will start. Shelda Diaz, she is our Mosaics program manager. She actually is coming in right now, so I will let Shelda introduce herself. Hey, Shelda, I'll let you get it settled for a second to turn on your camera and your sound. We can circle back to Shelda.
Yes, circle back to me because I'm still.
So I'm gonna pass it over to Chanel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chanel Thavaraja. I manage the Fish and Feathers program, the Golden Gate internship program, and then I also help Shelda facilitate the Mosaics and Science internship program. I will pass it to Vivian.
I'm Vivian. I am the program lead for the Latino Heritage Internship Program and also one of the coordinators for the Resource Assistance Program. And I will pass it over to Catherine.
Hi, my name is Catherine Shorten, and I manage the Resource Assistance Program almost exclusively, but I also help with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Program, along with our Pacific Northwest lead, Stephanie Laredo, who's not here today. And I'll pass it to Paulina.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paulina Gutierrez. I'm the internship programs assistant here. I really just help with all the leads with the internships, and I'm also the one behind the social media accounts. And I'll pass it to Shelda.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sheila Diaz Mendez. I'm coming to you from Puerto Rico. And I manage the Mosaics in Science Diversity Internship Program for Environment for the Americas with all of these wonderful people. And then I'll present to you who is our graphics designer and our executive director, Susan Bonfield.
Environment for the Americas came to be from the success of World Migratory Bird Day. Our mission is to engage diverse workforce by fostering cultural awareness among its partners and by engaging underrepresented youth in fields of research, education, conservation, and preservation. We are a nonprofit organization based out of Boulder, Colorado, and we work with multiple federal entities like the National Park Service, the U.S. Forest Service, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and many more.
The Mosaics and Science Diversity Internship Program is a program that places students in national parks to learn the skills and develop the skill set to be in a conservation job, in a job in the STEM fields. So if you're applying to Mosaics, we will receive your application and see where you fit best.
Latino Heritage Internship Program seeks to engage Latino undergraduates and recent graduates for ages 18 to 30 and up to 35 for veterans for this unmatched leadership training program that is focused in cultural and natural resources fields. This year, for 2023, we have 33 positions across all 12 regions of the National Park Service.
The Fish and Feathers internship program kicked off last year, so this is the second year that we're facilitating this program. There's 23 positions available. The stipend is $600 a week, and yeah, 23 different sites. Focuses on implementing, expanding, or establishing community outreach relating to fishing or birding recreational activities in our national parks. The pre-internship workshop will take place at Rocky Mountain National Park like it did last year, just a different side of Rocky, from May 15th to 19th. So that's a really awesome opportunity for us to connect with each other before heading off to different park sites.
The resource assistance program, RAP. We have 2 cohorts a year. The winter cohort is starting in just weeks, and we'll be recruiting again for a summer cohort at the end of spring. You must have a bachelor's degree. You receive a direct hiring authority after 960 hours, which takes about 6 months. Our weekly stipends pay from $500 to $750 weekly. We support housing with $1,000 a month stipend. Medical insurance is available if you opt in at no additional cost to you. And then we have an awesome benefit of $2,750 that can be used for continuing education, travel, and some other training opportunities. Okay, also the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, those internship programs take place on a wildlife refuge. The focus can be on implementing, creating, and expanding environmental education or community outreach programs that they already have set up. Or the focus could be on field work. What else? The difference between this program is that it's not like we might be recruiting for it at different times of the year. So it could be year round, but the majority of them start March or August.
All of these positions that you just heard about, except for the resource assistance program positions, are live on our website right now at environmentamericas.org. You'll get here at the landing page, and in this area, you'll see internships. And then when you click on that, it'll show you all the available internships that you can go ahead and apply for. So this session is about living in a park, so we'll go straight into that. So a lot of our interns, they get to live in a park. These parks or sites have on-site housing. These are typically shared housing situations, and they're dorm style or they're houses with individual rooms. In some cases, like Kalekaua National Park in Hawaii, they have yurts that the intern will stay in, or they have bunkhouses. These housing situations are usually within a walking distance to your actual work site. Some are more remote, which means they're usually farther away from grocery stores, malls, or things that you would typically find close to in a city. Because these housing situations are a little bit more remote, these positions typically require a car, or a car is strongly recommended so you can get off-site to go to grocery stores or anything else that you may need. This is an example of the housing situation for our Golden Gate Recreation Program. These interns are living in a larger housing situation with 20 other people. They have a kitchen, a living space, place to eat, and then they have their room and space to put their belongings. So if I'm living in the park, what should I pack? Park housing is usually stocked with some of the necessities that you need, like pots, pans, cooking utensils, and basic spices. Definitely feel free to pack anything else that you would like or that you need to cook. We also strongly suggest that you bring your own linens, which includes towels, sheets, pillows, blankets, or anything else that can make you feel comfortable in your home. I've included an example packing list that we used for our Fish and Feathers program last year. Usually, the site supervisors will give a packing list, and we will work with the interns to coordinate that and see if they need anything else. Here are a few tips and tricks from a former Latino Heritage internship program when going into housing. Definitely ask for photos of the housing and ask for a packing list from your supervisor if selected for the position. This will help you get a better idea for what you need on site for the housing and what you may expect for living in the housing situation. Ask your supervisor for grocery store recommendations rather than just Googling it yourself. These supervisors have been at the park for quite some time, so they know the best places in the area for you to go to, what's more cost affordable, if it's safe, or if you can find what you need at these places. And having a conversation with your roommates about cleaning responsibilities can make things so much easier when you're in the housing situation. So all those responsibilities are divvied up and it's not something that you're worried about once you get on site. I've included a photo here of the Canyon Village Market in Delhi at Grand Canyon National Park. This is an example of a store on the campus on Grand Canyon National Park where interns have gone in the past to shop for their needs. They have ramen, they've got chips, candy, sodas, and anything else that you may need to make a meal. And it's right there in the park and easy to access from the housing. Some more tips is that some cases there may not be stable internet or cell phone service. Because these places are remote, the cell phone and internet service is not always the best as if you would find in the city or your home or being on campus. Definitely check out the local library or coffee shops for access to this internet. If you're unable to get that access, sometimes the visitor centers have a little bit better internet. And we've had supervisors work with the interns to make sure that interns are able to get this. We've also sent out routers in the past, so interns are able to access a little bit better and have some better cell phone stability. And then definitely connect with other interns or seasonal employees during your time to link up for grocery or supplies runs. This makes things a lot easier carpooling, and the seasonal employees typically know the best places to go. What if there's no on-site housing? Not every park and site in the National Park Service or the Forest Service have on-site housing. But here at Environment for the Americas, our staff will work to find housing appropriate for you. We've had many different situations of housing. We've had interns stay in university dorm housing, like the George Washington dorm housing. I currently have interns staying in an Airbnb that are working with the Saguaro Conservation Corps, Furnish Finder, and also house apartment rentals. We make sure that the housing situations are furnished and you have access to a kitchen, typically someplace that you can do laundry, on-site laundry, or there's a washer and dryer in the housing, and a bed, just to make sure that you're set up. Even though these may not be on-site housing situations, we still suggest packing whatever cooking materials that you need, linens, towels, pillows, and anything else that will make you feel comfortable at the site while you're there. I just want to drop some resources and links right here, and I will also copy and paste them into the chat box so you all can have it. But these are our MPS websites, the National Park websites, our partner websites for the Mosaics and Science program, as well as the Latino Heritage Internship program, and some of our social media for Environment for the Americas and the Youth Programs Division with the National Park Service. Our next webinar will be interviewing for a position, which will be next week at January 26th at the same time and place, 4 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Eastern. I know this was a little bit quicker of a rundown of our programs and the housing, but I do want to allot quite enough time to open up the floor to any questions about housing, since this is a big, big deal. So the floor is open.
I don't have a question about housing, but I was wondering on the Mosaics and Science, the dates of the program, how flexible are those? Like if you don't get out of school until after one of the start dates, are you still able to?
Yeah, great question. It really depends on the position. There are projects that are, it's a hard date, like San Juan Islands, May 1st is their first day because of their project. There are others that are flexible, and especially in California, the California positions, they know that it's a quarterly system. So they're very flexible on start dates. So it really depends on the project. If you, let me know which one, we can definitely talk about it, have a conversation.
If I actually applied to the San Juan one, and I won't be out by May 1st.
Oh my
So
gosh. Yeah,
is-
that's one of those positions, which that's their first day. They need the
Okay.
intern there by May 1st. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any questions in the chat box?
Yeah, there's a question. Let me read it. Since the Mosaics in Science application deadline is on January 22nd, is the next webinar more for programs like the RAP, or is there an interview stage for all of the programs you mentioned? So Mosaics in Science closes on the 22nd, but Fish and Feathers and the Latino Heritage Internship Program closes on February 6th. So we'll be conducting interviews basically all through February and March. So it should help you with the first round of interviews and also the second round if you attend the next webinar. Other questions?
If somebody wants to do a mock practice with me, just shoot me an email. I'll help you out with an interview. It's not a problem.
The questions don't have to be about housing. They could be anything program related.
There's one in the chat. Oh, there's a couple in the chat. As a freshman, I haven't completed many courses yet, but I will complete more relevant courses by the summer. Can I include those in my application with a disclaimer? Sure. Just write like in progress or will be completed by whatever date. If there's no housing in the park and an Airbnb or college housing was needed, would the service pay for that, or would we pay for it since it's not in the park? So we through our programs, we cover housing. So if it's not on site, we will cover the cost of housing. All of these webinar recordings are on environmentamericas.org under the internship tab, in case you want to view the other ones.
Hi, I had a question. My name's Laura. I had a question about the rankings of the positions. I just was wondering how they work because I was a little confused by them. Like, do you get an offer to each of the positions, or if you say get into them, or do they see the? So I was just wanting to know how it works.
So when you list I would recommend, if you're interested in other positions, that you list those in your application, because what we get is applications. So if you put down 3 positions and I think that you would be an awesome fit for this random position that you didn't write down, I'm not going to be since you didn't put it in your application, I'm not going to shift you there. I might email you and be like, hey, are you interested? But it might just be easier if I had it. So if you have a list of positions that you're actually interested in and that they align with what you want to do, please include that somewhere. I think there's an additional comment section in the application, and that's where most people have been putting that.
Yeah, in the application itself, it has rank your top 3 positions.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if do you interview for all of them? And
so when we interview, I guess we interview you and try to figure out what your interests are. And if it aligns with your first choice, great. If it aligns better with your second choice, then we'll let you know.
Okay, I see now. That gives me a much clearer vision of it. Thank you.
And in the interview request, we might write down I would like to interview you for a specific position, but we'll ask you in the interview if you'd like to be considered for others too.
Okay, thank you so much.
Our application questions do not have a length for how long we're looking for. Quality over quantity. That's what I say. So just make sure you're getting your point across, and I'm sure it'll be good.
I have a question about the roommates quick, actually. So like, is there like a ballpark, like average number of roommates for a dorm? Or is it like different for depending on where you go?
Yep, it's depending on the park.
Different, okay, gotcha.
They're different.
It's very different. I can give an example for Grand Canyon
Mhm.
National Park. Their housing situation is actually houses.
Okay.
So they're shared with seasonal employees, and the intern there will share with maybe 2 or upwards of 3 other people. With the Golden Gate housing, it was with 20 people, and then at Tonto National Monument, it was with 2 other people in a housing situation. It's very dependent. If you do stay in university housing, like Crichton University in Omaha, the supervisor will give, they'll ask you if you would like a roommate or not a roommate. So it's just very dependent.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Are there any other questions in the chat box?
There's no questions in the chat box. Anyone have any other questions? Oh, Marley's asking a question. Oh, wait, never mind.
I can definitely say that if there is a if there is a situation in housing and this happens because we are all different people, different individuals, and different personalities, our EFTA staff is definitely trained to help you navigate through some situations because we know how overwhelming it can be. We actually fill out an incident report form when you reach out to us and say, I'm having a situation in housing with a roommate. And what we do with that incident report form is we try to channel it. If it's, if we think it's a huge situation, we have counseling for that. And if it's something that we can mediate, then we will. We usually go to the supervisor first and let them know, hey, there's a housing situation. And they'll know, if they can move a person, if it's too uncomfortable. I mean, you're not going to stay in a situation which is uncomfortable, that's for sure. And we just want you to know that we know there are many, many situations in housing in NPS. We know there are very old buildings and there are very new remodeled buildings. So when we're talking about examples of where am I going to live, some can brag that they're alone in a yurt, really nice in Capulan Volcano. And then others will say, well, I'm, in an older building in Florida. So that depends. It depends a lot. And you will have a support system with you all the time.
Catherine, you have a question about RAP? Where are RAP openings advertised? I've seen a few places, but I'm tad confused on if there's one place to look.
Okay, so there is one place where all the positions start, and that's on the Forest Service website. They partner with multiple locations, right? And so each position or each partner's job board is on there. But right now, you might not find any positions. I mean, check the EFTA website. Once we have positions, they'll be up there with all the other positions. I am looking for somebody in Idaho randomly.
There's another question. Will our references be contacted if we get selected? Yes. We actually do conduct reference checks based on what the supervisor of the site wants. So I've conducted reference checks for like the top 3, top 2 candidates, and we'll let you know when that's been initiated so that you can also let folks know that they might be contacted.
Hi, I had 2 questions. The first was about RAP, and so for the since the second round for the RAP for the summer is the application is more in the spring. if will we have time to apply for the RAP if the first round didn't work out, or would we only or would it the notification for the first round of internships be after? I was just wondering if it'd be okay to apply to both.
Yeah, on our website, I mean, all the positions that are available, you get to pick first, second, and third choice. But if one of these summer internships did not work for you for mosaics, fish and feathers, LHIP, if one did, you would still have enough time to apply for RAP. However, RAP is different. It's not a summer internship. You kind of got to be done with school. You need your degree or write up on the degree in order to be a RAP intern.
Thank you. And then my second question was about for the resume portion. I was wondering if there's any suggestions or recommendations you had for the resume portion in general, or sections that you're looking for or anything like that.
Oh, I would love to speak on this. With resumes, make sure that everything you've done is on there, and anything that's relevant, because there's been multiple times in interviews where I've interviewed someone, and I'll talk about this a little more next session, where I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then I look at their resume and it's literally not there. So just make sure it's there. That's going to be what we send to the park. So that's you in a nutshell. So make sure you're covering. I really like resumes with personal statements on there, like who you are, just like a brief statement about who you are. Relevant coursework is great as well. Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you. And is there a recommended length for the resume, or is it because I know some jobs want to keep it to one page, or can you go over that?
Yeah, we don't have a limit. So as long as you'd like. No novels, I would say.
I just want to give a quick reminder again that the applications for Mosaics in Science are due this Sunday, January 22nd. And our applications for the Latino Heritage Internship Program and the Fish and Feathers Program are due February 6th. So you guys still got some time to get in applications for both of those programs, and just a few days for the Mosaics in Science. So if you're thinking of applying, get those applications in sooner than later. Are there any more questions regarding applying, housing, intern experience?
Yes, I have a question if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking for the place to raise my hand, but I couldn't find it. So if there's sort of a limited number of programs that you're eligible for in your state, and there's 2 that you are interested in / meet the qualifications for, is it okay to put only 2 out of the 3 internship ranking positions available?
Yes, that's totally cool. If you have all 3 different options that you'd like, you can put down 3. If you have 2, you can put down 2, or if you only have 1, you can put down 1. That's totally fine.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
We will be putting the recording again on our website, Environment for the Americas, so you guys can circle back and view that if you'd like. I know today was a little bit more short and sweet, but did want to make sure we had time for questions. And if there are no more questions, I guess we can go ahead and stop the recording.
I did post
sorry.
one more question in the chat. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
You could read it if that's
Chanel, can you read that out? Sorry, I can't see the chat box.
Yeah, totally. Around what time this year would it be a good idea to expect more RAP positions to appear on the job boards?
Yes, in March. Those positions, that cohort will get started like the end of June, somewhere in June-ish. But they usually give them to us in March, and it'll be a quick turnaround. So, and I put my email in the chat somewhere if you have another RAP question that didn't get answered this evening or doesn't get answered this evening.
Any more questions through the chat box?
Do we receive a confirmation email when we submit our application to LHIP?
So right now, I do understand that there haven't been confirmation emails being sent out, but we have received the applications. Everyone's applications are coming in. The confirmation email has not just been sent out. If you have a very specific question, go ahead and email LHIP, HLIP at environmentamericas.org if you're concerned about your application, and I will make sure that your application has been received, and I'll get back to you on that.
Someone asked, where can we find the current RAP positions on the website?
The ones for Idaho? 'Cause that's all, I'm sorry. That's all I got right now. But Kira, if you want to go to Idaho, email me. You want to go to Idaho, you can go to Idaho. Just email me. No, but that's all we have at this time.
What's the latest that RAP can start, since many probably start in June?
So there is like an in-person orientation that's not flexible, but at specific sites that could be flexible to get to your actual site to work.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice. If you guys have any questions in the meantime between this webinar and the next webinar, we have our program emails, the LHIP mosaics. For general internships, you can email internships@environmentamericas.org. But we will have this recording on the website again for you to go back and revisit. But all of our staff is here to assist or support you in any other questions that you may have. So Chanel, could you go ahead and stop the recording?